see. So, all right. So if you are tuning in, welcome, welcome from wherever you are. Today, I'm here with a very, very special guest, the lovely Ms. Dellea Copeland, who is a data-driven consultant. I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Skirt, rewind. A data-driven content queen and experienced marketer. She currently coaches entrepreneurs who want to stop posting on Instagram without a plan and get back to business. Content queen Dellea, what's poppin'? Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Also, not in my bio, I was a DJ. I was a wedding DJ at some point. I did a few other gigs, but for a few years I was out there.
You was in the streets. Holding it down. So that's why I think part of the reason I think that she is great to talk about this is because she's been there. She's one of us. And even if you take a little time away, because I know you're not DJing as much right now, but even then, the love is always there, in my opinion. And we're never too far away from music, no matter what. So
For sure.
I feel like she has great insights as to how, and we've discussed, so I know actually she has great insights of how to approach Instagram as a DJ. And one of the things that Dellea has done has spoken to my students in my Spin to Six Facebook group. And let me tell you, bombs everywhere. Hold on. I have explosions. Dropping them. And because she holds it down. Yeah. I'm just saying. I wanted to up the level of these webinars.
You're going to teach me how to do that.
I will.
My goodness.
And so she's going to share some of her knowledge today, drop some bombs on y'all, and the floor is yours, my queen.
Thank you. Okay, so today I just want to talk to you guys about creating content on Instagram because, as a DJ, I had a hard time figuring out what to share. And, when I started, following my DJ friends, I saw that they were trying, but it wasn't working. And I know why. So Shammy, if you want to go ahead and bring up my slides, we can get it popping.
Bam. Great.
Perfect. I think that's the last slide.
That's not great. Hold on.
If y'all want to go ahead and follow me, there it is.
Hold on. Is this the top? Yes.
Before that.
Before that.
Yeah. We're going to start at the very top title slide.
This is it, right?
Yep, that's it. Okay, y'all. So I did name it Content Creation for DJs. I was like, what did I put on there? All right, y'all. So just to reiterate, my name is Dellea Copeland. That's my company, Brand Boss Company. You can follow me on Instagram. It's at Brand Boss Co, where I post all the tips about growing your Instagram and just my journey as an entrepreneur. But in particular today, we are not talking about me. We are talking about content creation for DJs. So if you want to hit the next slide, please. So what are we covering today? I want to make it really clear what we're covering today in today's masterclass. So why you should be using Instagram for business, what the difference is between an entrepreneur, such as yourself, and an influencer. I want to talk quickly about 1,000 true fans theory. Okay, I'll touch on that. I didn't realize I put that there. I want to talk about, is Instagram growth really important? And I want to talk about feeding your marketing funnel. Now, I know you're probably wondering what a marketing funnel is. We'll touch on it, all right? Next slide, please. So why should you use Instagram for business? Next slide again. Let's talk data, all right? So 1 billion people use Instagram every single day. That's a lot of people and a lot of potential customers right there. 75% of US businesses use Instagram this year. And I'm wondering if one of them will be you. And then 62% of people say that they become more interested in a brand or product after seeing it on Instagram. Now, I can tell you for a fact that I have bought things based on people that I follow just saying like, oh, this is a product I use. Or, my favorite business coach is over here talking about a program that she has. She sold me through Instagram. I will tell you right now, it was a $3,000 program that I bought straight through Instagram. Woo. So I can tell you that Instagram marketing works, okay? Next slide, please. But I do have to stress that Instagram is a tool for your business. It is used to build visibility and convert followers into paying clients. You see how big I put that text? Because I wanted to drive that home. I even bolded it for you. It is used to build visibility for you and your brand and your services and convert your followers into paying clients. Instagram is not your business itself. You should not be spending huge amounts of time on being a content creator and a social media manager. You are an entrepreneur. Next slide, please. So I have to drive home the point as well that you're an entrepreneur, first and foremost. And then it may come with, you know, some status. You may become an influencer, but first and foremost, you are an entrepreneur. Now, this means most of your revenue comes from a product or a service that you provide. This is different from an influencer who does make money from, you know, being online, but it's because they have a following that they get money from brands, or they have a huge engagement rate that they get, you know, opportunities. It's a huge difference. And then, you know, of course, there's some crossover. Maybe some influencers do turn into entrepreneurs, but for the most part, we're talking about you, the entrepreneur.
Yeah, Paris Hilton did become a DJ at one point. Yikes.
Yeah, she's still doing it, and I did listen to her. Right. It's all right.
Yeah. Oh, you've seen her live?
I haven't seen her live, but like I've stalked her Instagram, and I like wanted to know because she's doing it all. And I was like, I know I bought her album, like her pop album, which was good. So I was like, oh, she's probably a dope DJ. Let's just say she's having a lot of fun, and that's great. Okay?
Yeah.
She is not hurting for the coin. All right.
Yeah.
So I say that because I want to say that, like, you know, Instagram growth is important, but not so important that you forget to actually, you know, nurture your followers and convert them. Don't listen to Paris Hilton. Hey, Josh.
Dapper Josh.
Let's see. Okay, good. This is content that you think works. So when you're creating content, this is the stuff that I see on Instagram that I'm like, okay, as a DJ, I appreciate this, but as your like a target audience, your ideal client, they don't care about these pieces of content as much as they would about like other forms of content that I'm also going to talk about. So specifications about your equipment, that's all great for other DJs, but not for your ideal clients, which, you know, it varies with, you know, whoever's watching this, it varies. It could be, you know, grooms and brides. It could be like corporate, you know, gigs. It could be, you know, brands. They don't care about your equipment or like the headphones that you like or the speakers. Like, it shows that you're into your industry, but it doesn't show them like what you can actually do for them. Again, how to post about making beats and mixing tracks. Like, I find it fascinating because I like music and I'm a DJ, but again, they don't care about the technical know-how. What they want is to see that you can create an experience and a transformation for them. I'm gonna keep going, industry specific memes and updates. So Josh, I know you're watching, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. Josh has a lot of great memes on his profile and they made me laugh as a DJ. I was like, yeah, that's so funny. But if I was thinking about it, I was like, if I was like a bride or someone who's not in the industry, then when it hit with me, that when it resonates. So, you know, think about that when you're posting funny stuff. And you should, you know, especially right now in these COVID streets, you should be posting stuff that is lighthearted and makes people feel good. But, you know, industry specific memes and updates. So, you know, there's conferences, there's things going on in your industry. Cool. If you want to show it on your Instagram stories, where Instagram stories is a little bit more like casual and it disappears after 24 hours, I feel like, you know, you can share those things. But like for your main feed, you got to be really careful about what you're sharing. And the reason is this isn't in the list, in the notes or anything, but I got to say that when somebody finds you, they have like a split second to make a decision of whether they're interested, whether they want to follow, whether they want to read your captions, go through your photos, you know, split second decision. So your top 9 posts have to be really spot on. Don't waste your post space. Don't waste space in your top 9 with stuff that doesn't work, right? Let's see, lifestyle. Oh, your opinion about music and other DJs, etc. You know, they don't really care. Like, also, I say don't talk about other DJs. It's just bad practice, unless it's like positive. But even then, you really shouldn't be talking about other DJs. Talk about you. Lifestyle content from you. When people start to get a following on Instagram, they tend to start getting that following because they're very niche. They're very hyper focused on, you know, wedding content or, you know, club content. Like they're very, very focused and they get a very specific audience. And then once they start to build momentum and start building a following, then they start to, you know, talk about what they had for breakfast and becoming more of an influencer type. You know, we've all seen it. And that's great. And some people will respond to it, but that's not going to convert your followers into sales, right? That's just going to convert your followers into more views or more likes, you know, and that doesn't put money in your pocket, not really. So just keep that in mind. And then finally, flyers of shows, don't do this. Nobody cares. Like I have to say, like if I'm a bride on Instagram, I am not going to be like, oh, there's a flyer to this show. And it could be your show, you know. Shammy and I talked about this where it's like, no one's ever saw a flyer where it says book me, book now, and was like, okay, you know.
Right.
I know it's tempting to just put it out there and pitch yourself in that way, but it's not very effective. And if you do it enough times, if you post these flyers again and again, you might just lose followers because it's, you know, it's not content that resonates with them personally or what they need or looking for. Also, I just have to say that a lot of people who do post flyers, you know, it's not just you at that show. There could be other DJs, there's other vendors. Usually it's a collaborative effort. And like, that's cool, but you have to be really careful about promoting other people's stuff on your own Instagram. This is something I have to tell entrepreneurs a lot. It's like, hey, I understand that you want to refer people to your favorite business coach or your favorite like artist or whoever because you think they're great, but you're just giving away your warm audience to somebody else. And by that, I mean, you've warmed them up, you've hooked them in to follow you, to engage with your content, and then you just sent them away to go buy from somebody else. Be careful about doing that. Let's see. Next slide, please. Now I know I'm going pretty quickly, so oh, I see we do have the chat. So if people have questions, are we doing Q&A or are we good?
Yeah. If people have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Yeah, and we'll get to them.
All right, so content that your followers actually want to see. Now, I say this as a DJ and as someone who still follows DJs, but I follow DJs and I've never heard their music. I was just like, yo, they're dope. Like just based on the experience that I'm seeing in their posts. So, you know, content that actually works. It's like you showing that you can set a vibe with music, that you've got bomb lighting, that you're using your equipment in a way that creates an experience, because again, that's what people are looking for when they're looking for a DJ and they hop on Instagram. Okay, they might be interested in the music, but what they're really interested is, can you rock my wedding, my party, my event? Can you create like the atmosphere that I'm looking for, right? And you can actually do this through live streaming since that is so popular right now. I totally encourage that. And also just curated videos. Like if you haven't seen Shammy's video on the rooftop, you could do something like that to show like, hey, you can rock a party. People having fun at your events. Again, the music itself, cool. It's cool if you're technically, you know, proficient. I was not the best DJ, but I always got the best reviews because I know how to rock a party and I know how I'm a people person. So that really helps. And by people having fun at your events, I mean like just people smiling, laughing, dancing. I know it's really hard to pull yourself away from the player when creating content. And we will talk about that in a few moments. You having fun at your events. People want to know that you're having fun. Like I used to work with my boss when I was DJing. I used to work with an entertainment company and he just had resting bitch face. Like that was just his face, you know? And he just looked so miserable at his own events all the time. And you know, you could ask him, he'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm like, but you look like you don't want to be here. So you got to be really careful about that. You know, you want to show that you can set the vibe and people are having fun, but also you are having fun. I also used to DJ with someone who I used to get so upset because he'd always get the best tips, like $300, whatever, here, there, whatever. Because one, I'm a people person, but he's like a people person. But two, he had a lot of fun at their events as well. Sometimes he got on the dance floor. I'm not saying do this, but I'm just saying that people want to see that you enjoy and love what you're doing. Let's see. You need to have testimonials from your clients and fans. And I know testimonials sounds like really stiff and formal, but testimonials can really just be, you know, like people having fun, or you can like whip out your phone and be like, hey, are you having a good time? And they say, yes. there's a testimonial. Let's see, not to cut off your legs. So you should, maybe I shouldn't say cut off your legs, but not to like stop you from expressing your musical talent. Let me correct myself. You should share your music, but you have to make the caption count, right? So when you share your music, I hope the caption isn't like, okay, well, I created this mix using this, or I was inspired by this or whatever. I mean, if you are speaking to other DJs, again, that is content that would resonate, but you can attract people's attention with like, oh, this is a great mix. And then in the caption, that's where you can convert them, right? Where you can talk about like what to look for when booking a DJ. And then at the end of that caption, you could say, click the link in my bio to book me, or, you know, to learn more or whatever. The caption doesn't have to be necessarily just about the music that you've posted. That's just a hook. And then finally, yes, you should share yourself, but like rein it in, okay? People need to get to know you and like you and trust you in order to buy from you, right? But the profile isn't, your Instagram profile isn't necessarily about you, it's about them. You have to keep this in mind when you're creating content. Like, yes, it can be, it can feature you, but ultimately the message and what you're trying to do and say should be about creating something for them. Let's see. Oh, and there's some ways that you could like get people to know you a little bit more. I did say don't share a bunch of lifestyle content, but you can do like a bi-weekly intro post and be like, hey, if you haven't met me, this is my name, this is my experience, this is why I got into what I'm doing. This is what I'm looking forward to. Like, just do an intro post every 2 weeks or so, because you will gain some new followers over time. And a lot of people won't have seen your previous post. So it's okay to do it again and again. You could even copy paste, nobody cares. Let's see, next slide, please.
Yeah.
So how to create content when you can't tear yourself away from the player. Now, I remember trying to get content at weddings, and it was such a pain. I would like try and put on a long song, and then I'd run around with my phone and like get all up on the dance floor and try to get people like, you know, in the camera, get proof that like I'm doing a great job, and then I would run back over there and then try and mix in something else. It was always such a pain, but I found ways to make it work. So next slide, please. Yeah. All right, so here's some tips when you can't tear yourself away from the player.
And this is real quick. I'm sorry, this is specific to like weddings right now, right?
This is specific to, well, anywhere. Like if you're in the club, or if you're at an event, like a corporate event, if you're at a, like, well, if you're on tour, it's different, but on tour, one of these tips will actually help you. Yeah. This is just when you can't get away from your player. For me, I couldn't get away from my player mostly at weddings. So if there are other vendors at the event, you can be nice to them. Just make nice. The photographer is your best friend. And honestly, if you're working the circuit, you're going to work with the same people again and again and again. I built a relationship with multiple photographers, videographers over the years. And when we saw each other, I knew how they worked, they knew how I worked, and we would collaborate to make the event, like not just run well, but make sure that we get what we need. So, you know, because I had control of the lights, I would make sure, okay, I'm going to set the lighting at this, you know, this rate or whatever, and ask them if that's okay. And they appreciate just the little things. For me, I would also tell them ahead of time, like when I'm about to play a song that will most likely get those hands in the air shots. You know, it's a very, you know, typical shot, but you know, it's what the bride and groom, in my experience, would want to see, right? So it's just paying it forward and giving them that small courtesy. And then after that, they'll likely share their professional photos with you of the event. They'll likely tag you on Instagram. And honestly, if you are like buddy with them, and I'm not saying just become friends, right? Just to get something out of them, you're naturally going to gravitate toward each other. But you can feature each other on Instagram. Now, I did say don't promote other people's stuff on Instagram. What I actually meant was don't promote other DJs on Instagram. You can promote other photographers, other people who don't do what you do, and that builds like that network, right? So they'll share their professional photos with you or tag you online. The next thing is you can hire an assistant. Now, I know not everyone is in the position to do that. For me, I hired an intern for $100 an event because I lived in a college town. I lived in Penn State area, and there were so many young men who wanted to learn how to DJ so they can be in the club in Philly and Pittsburgh. And I was there to teach them. So they would tag along. I would teach them the technical stuff while I was working. And then I would say, hey, Jimmy or John or whoever, please, take my phone and just walk around, just get footage, take pictures, ask like whoever, for me, the main person was like the bride and groom, whoever the main person or like the star of the show or wherever you're at, you can take, ask them, be like, hey, can I take a photo of you and put it on my Instagram, let's see. Repost from the event hashtags. So if you've been to enough weddings, you've seen enough like corny hashtags that people have created for themselves with their last names and stuff. I've done a few corporate events at the Penn State campus itself where they would have like a hashtag. If you're looking for content from an event that you did, you can go to those corny hashtags, scroll through and repost or save like the ones that you think are really cool and that show you having a good time or show people having a good time. And you can ask permission, right? Be like, hey, can I repost this? Most people say yes. Repost it on your Instagram. Go ahead and say thank you to, Penn State for having me. Show gratitude, show that you had a good time, and you'll most likely also get people from that event liking it and just boosting that post, right? Let's see. Oh, and then I did mention asking people for testimonials. Because people want social proof, right? It's not enough just to have to set the vibe on Instagram and to show people having fun. People really want to see I booked with this person for this reason. I had a good time. This is my review after the event, You can have a formal process. You can incentivize your clients to write or film a review of your work by saying, hey, I'll give you 30 minutes added, play music, or I will, give you a discount, or here's some free lighting. Use what you already have to go ahead and incentivize them to leave you a review. Also, another thing that I used to do is when guests would come up to my table and, they would want to request a song, I would say, yeah, also, are you having a great time? Can I to pick up my phone and be like, can I put you on Instagram? And, tell me about the event. Tell me what's going on. Are you having fun? Blah, blah. And usually also they're very inebriated. So they'd be like, yes, I'm having a great time. And I'm like, bet, thank you. Good times had by all. And, they gave me permission. So I just reposted on Instagram. Let's see.
Sorry,
Next slide.
that deserves because I think that was a gem right there.
And finally, a few extra tips. Now, I know I just whizzed through this.
Yeah.
Here's some things that'll make life a lot easier for you. So now we talked about why Instagram is important. We didn't talk about the 1,000 true fans theory. Just forget about it. We didn't talk about marketing funnel. Forget about it. But this last bit will touch upon both. So one, in order to, now you've got all this great content, but you're still likely going to be inconsistent about posting it. And that's totally normal. Okay. Don't feel bad that you can't keep up with your Instagram because you have a lot of other things going on. It's not just you don't just show up and play music. There's a whole sales process before then, right? There's a whole lot of technical stuff that you're working on. You don't have time to be a whole social media manager. Okay. You're trying to run a business. That's why I said you're an entrepreneur and not necessarily an influencer. You're not necessarily a social media manager. You are your own business. So the best way I can say is to create a system for creating content. And that means, starting with a very basic content calendar. Now, if you've never seen a content calendar, I can tell you, it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just the 5 days, and just write down what type of content you want to post on Mondays or Wednesdays or Fridays. Don't go overboard and try to post every single day if that's not something that you're used to, because that's a sure way to kind of set yourself up for failure. And so once you decide okay, on Mondays, I post testimonials, then you can say, okay, well, for this month, I want to use these 4 testimonials. And then you just decide okay, I'm going to post these 4 testimonials. There's tools that will schedule it for you and all of that. We could talk about that at some point, but You could schedule your content ahead of time. You can write captions all at once. You don't have to do it that day. You don't have to do it one by one. You could sit down, open a Google Doc, write out your captions, schedule that too. So there are ways and systems that allow you to batch your content so you can just be done with it, okay? Hook up your Instagram bio. So here's where the marketing funnel part comes into play. So let's say you are growing your audience on Instagram. It's your ideal client. That's so great. You're getting popularity. You're getting it like DMs that are like, oh, I really liked, you know, this. How can I work with you? Honestly, they shouldn't even have to DM you. It should be really clear in your Instagram bio how people can work with you. So when I say hook up your Instagram bio, just update your link at the very basic thing. If you don't do anything else, just update the link in your bio. So it goes to your booking page, or it goes to your homepage, or, you know, it goes somewhere that gets people more interest, or like one step closer to buying from you. And one way you can get people to click that link in the bio is to ask them to click the link in your bio. So when you're writing a caption, at the end of every caption, there should be something called a call to action. What action do you want your followers to take when they see your post? Do you want them to click the link in your bio and, you know, book a call? Do you want them to click the link in your bio to, you know, buy directly? I don't know if a lot of people do that, but just tell them how they can get in touch with you and work with you. And you have to be really clear. Now, I know it's not really intuitive, but you have to say, click the link in my bio. You have to tell people what to do. And then let's see. Oh, I didn't really go into 1,000 true fans theory. It's some marketing woo-woo stuff, but let me tell you real quick. This links into like, is Instagram growth really that important? On one hand, yes. So I've been talking to Shami about his Instagram, and I'm like, oh, he's got like a fair amount of followers. He can leverage that to, you know, get new opportunities. For you, if you're newer, I don't think Instagram growth is the most important thing for you. Really, you don't need 10,000 followers in order to make money off of Instagram. What you need are 1,000 true followers. So let's say you charge $100 for a service, and you just need 1,000 people to buy your $100 product or service just to make a living. Well, you could have 1,000 people following on Instagram that love and adore you and will buy anything that you put out there. Or you could have like 1 million people on your Instagram, but you still don't have 1,000 true followers. You just have 1 million people who followed you because they liked what you were posting or whatever, but they're not really your ideal client. So the difference here is that when you're first like building visibility online and you're using Instagram, it's really easy to get caught up in what is called vanity metrics, which is just like how many likes you're receiving, how many people commented, and it stresses you out. And then you don't want to post and you get all up in your head and you get self-conscious. And I'm just saying that it's not about the numbers, the number of followers you have. It's about the number of people who are willing to buy from you. And it doesn't have to be like a ton of people. So just saying that to wrap it up, when you're creating content, keep that in mind. It's okay if it doesn't reach 1 million people at first, you know, just, you have to be consistent. And next slide, please. Talk to me, follow me, ask me questions. That's my face and that's my handle. Take a screenshot right now, and hit me up on Instagram. I do answer my DMs. I'm not that popular yet.
Yet.
And then that's it, yeah. Next slide. I think the end slide is just my handle, but like fancy. There you go. Brand Boss Co. I'll see you there.
Bam, bam. So a couple things. If you are attending, oh, we have some questions. Great. John, if you have a question, can you put it in the chat and we will answer it. And so a couple things. Dellea has just hit us with like fire, ultimate fire right now. But it's a lot of information to take in for sure. So there will be a replay. Email me and I'll get this sent out to you. If you'd like, contact her if you have more questions for sure. Her handle is right here. And and then here is a link to opt in on her email list where she'll send you tips and tricks on bettering your IG game. So fill this out.
Yeah, if you click that link right there, you get an instant download to my ultimate, my like no zero, like my zero bullshit Instagram checklist. Like it's how to optimize your Instagram posts, your bio. Like it's fairly detailed, but it's totally worth it. So go ahead and hit that link.
Yeah, you'll have to type it into your web browser.
Type that link in
for now, and then you'll get access to that. So a couple things based on everything that you've just talked about. If I take a step back and look at the bigger picture, it seems like what you are referencing is push versus pull theory, right? And in regards to marketing, a lot of people just blast their stuff out. They're pushing out their content. Check me out, buy from me, book me, look at this mix, check this out. And you're pushing basically yourself onto your ideal client, which is less than ideal for people because they're just like, check me out, check me out, check me out, check me out when they have no connection to you. So it sounds like what you are talking about here is pulling them in with relevant content that would apply to them. And that starts, at least initiates that connection. So then when you do send out stuff about your new material or like new DJ mix or check this thing out, people are more apt to, are more receptive, I would say, to clicking the link in your bio and following that thread and seeing what you have going on. Is this correct? Would this be like kind
absolutely, absolutely. So people don't want to be sold to all the time. It's very annoying. So, you know, you're creating relevant content that warms up your audience, right? So when people first follow you, they're a cold audience. They don't know anything about you. They just were intrigued and followed you for some reason. And they're maybe in the, you know, looking for something in the future. And they're just going to follow you to keep tabs on you, right? They're not ready to buy yet. They're cold audience. You need to warm them up by showing them like, you know, this is what you offer, but not in a pushy way. Now, I'm not saying you can never pitch yourself directly. I'm just saying be really judicious about it and be really smart.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I'm quickly moving over. So if you are tuning in via Facebook or another platform, you are not able to see the slides because it's on Zoom. So this is where we're taking all the questions, but I wanted to see if people had questions. Christelle asked it's not an IG thing. Any recommendations on connecting with new promoters and venues? That's a whole different question relevant to what we're talking. It's based on what we're talking about right now. But I will say this, when you do connect with a venue, when you do connect with somebody, the first thing they do is, what's their IG? Let me see their socials. So part of getting your IG game together is also being able to create a proper digital presence of who you are. So when people first get in touch with you or come across your name, when they look you up, now you have stuff up and ready to go. That's a proper representation that pulls people in, right? You're not selling them on stuff. You're giving them almost a reason to buy from you. Not another way of kind of putting it. So if you are reaching out to people, really go back and watch this and see how you can set yourself up for success in a way, because basically this is what you're doing. John asks, is this link and the Zoom call going to be in the Facebook group? I tried putting in the Facebook group, but I'll do that, John. Don't worry about it. Another question for you, Dellea, what would be, for someone who's starting out, and you did touch on this a little bit, but if someone is starting out, like what would be some super simple ideas to get them going with their Instagram page?
Good question. So when I said like follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I'm not popular yet, but you can see that I have a very clear plan. And when I was first starting out, now I'm not a DJ anymore, but this is general advice. When I was first starting out, I was like, okay, I don't really have like, you know, social proof for my business yet. I don't have anything to show. Like what content do I create? Well, the best content you can do is share your actual journey, stepping into your business, stepping into your music, and just, showing behind the scenes of you actually working. So if you're not quite working yet, then you can talk about it. You can be like, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is what I'm hoping to do. This is what I can, this is what I'm technically proficient at. And if you want to show a little bit more of your music and a little bit more of your talent before, getting to the social proof with like testimonials and hands in the air shots and stuff, because you're not quite there yet, then I think that's totally acceptable to just show your technical like expertise and talk about your journey, and that will eventually attract the people that you're looking for. I hope that makes sense. It's very general, but that's basically what I recommend people to do when they're first starting out. It's just, hey, be honest about where you're at. You don't have to position yourself as like this great DJ with all this experience just yet. It's pretty obvious, if you're starting out, you're starting out. I hope that helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. John asked, you said be wary of reposting other DJs' content. I can agree with that. What is your opinion on DJ communities constantly reposting each other? On Instagram, I see a ton of DJs reposting each other in the DJ community even before the quarantine. I feel this is counterproductive despite the trend in social media culture.
Let's see. I mean, it really depends on who your audience is. If
Yeah.
if your like target audience are other DJs or maybe, club promoters, then I actually think that's pretty acceptable because they will be following DJs and looking for that. And if you could get your own content shared in these communities, dope. Should you be sharing it? No, I mean, it's really up to you. I just say be wary of promoting other people's stuff that isn't you. Right now, everybody's live streaming, everybody's promoting each other. And I think that's great. And I think that just is more of an ode to what's going on in the community and like the broader sense of the word of what's going on now. You did say it was pre-COVID, but I would just say it's probably more prevalent now more than ever. So on one hand, there's like a sense of paying it forward by sharing. But on the other hand, if you've spent a lot of time and effort building your audience, I wouldn't promote, another DJ to them. You should be promoting you to them. So it's just a personal preference. If you want to reshare and if they're like a friend, I get it, but just think through it. Like, where's your audience at?
Yeah. And I don't know how necessarily, because you say counterproductive, but counterproductive according to what, John, right? I think if it's in reference to what Dellea was saying, then yeah, counterproductive to you growing your following, and the whole idea of like you have a warm audience and now you're sharing that audience with somebody else. But if you're doing it with the intention of like, hey, this is actually a really dope mix, or like this is a cool thing somebody did, then you're spreading something that you think is super dope to your followers. Like this is something worth sharing. So maybe in that sense, it may not be counterproductive, but it's if a DJ community like DJcity.com, their job it's a record pool that's designed for DJs. So it's in their interest actually to promote a bunch of DJs, right? And that way they're feeding people's views to what they have going on. So it's what to continue Dellea's point. It's all based on what your goal is with your Instagram following. Now, let me see if there are any other questions in Facebook. I don't think so.
Thank you for that question. That was a good one.
Yeah. I think, so something that we were also talking about prior to starting is the whole idea of word of mouth being the strongest form of marketing. So I have a friend of mine who is a successful director, meaning that he gets work. He gets consistent work. And I mean, everybody in theater has been in a tough position because of COVID, right? The arts in general have just been put in a tough position. But prior to this hitting, he was able to get work at very prestigious theaters with no digital media presence, period. No social media presence, like no IG, no Facebook, maybe a LinkedIn, if that. And I don't think it necessarily runs counter to the things that we're talking about, because for music, I think this is important. And let me know if you think otherwise, but I think it is important for the things that we're doing, but I think that his success really echoes the point that, yeah, you can have success without having social media, but that just means you must be working your ass off on the ground, hustling and getting your name out there. And what he has done over the years for his career was do a lot of good work which meant that his name got out there, which his name not just got out there, but was out there with the right people for him to continue to get work, to continue to get booked, right? So what we're talking about here is a way for you to have a presence going for you online where people will be able to talk about you more and more, because ultimately word of mouth is the strongest form of marketing. And that's ideally where you want to get to. Give people a reason to talk about you. Give people a reason to recommend you to somebody else. And the way to do it is, one, social media presence, but on top of that is the groundwork of contacting other venues, contacting coordinators, contacting potential clients, and getting them like on the phone or getting other people to recommend your name. Like there's two parts to the groundwork. Don't be just doing this Instagram work and thinking that, well, that's going to solve all my problems, because I don't think it will.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Instagram is basically a reflection of word of mouth marketing. It's just digitized. Research actually shows that word of mouth marketing is, by far the most effective form of marketing. And it's, if you ever think about it, like you've had friends recommend products to you. Okay, done. I'm going to buy it. Like my friends, someone I trust or I like recommended this person, this product, whatever. So you instantly don't even question it. The same should be going for you, whether it's online or offline. People should be talking about you. So I totally agree with everything that you just said.
Great. Yeah. Sweet. Thank you once again. If there are no other questions, and I will check. Yeah, no other questions. Thank you so much for blessing us with these gems. We're all giving you props. And I'm realizing very late that if you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, you cannot see Dellea because we were having a Zoom call. And right now, what the camera is seeing is just me. So you got to see my lovely face.
You guys see me? Yeah.
Or the slides. Someone was like, I can't see the slides. And I was like, why can't you see? Oh, that's why. Because I'm streaming on Zoom. And my restream feed was just my camera. So
well, I hope you all like my voice. People tell me I got a good voice.
Wonderful voice. Wonderful voice. Thank you so much. Make sure to follow Dellea at Brand Boss Co on IG. I'm on Instagram as well as ShammyD. Check out her link, bit.ly/2JPGO3F for those who are tuning in later, can't see the link. She'll get you hooked up with the no BS. Yeah,
the zero BS Instagram checklist. No frills, no nothing. Do the things on the checklist and your Instagram will be popping, okay?
That's how we do. That's how we do. Thanks so much, everybody. Until next time, peace, peace.
Bye, thank you.